Hey, ladies and gents, welcome back. This is going to be part 5 to What If Naruto Was Madara's grandson. So now in the last part, we left off with them pretty much getting done with the Tenkaichi Bridge mission, and then the pain, like all the different, pretty much everything through Shippuden is what we got through in the last episode. So now it's either this episode or episode 6 is probably going to be the last episode of this, because the war arc won't take that long to get through, and that's pretty much all we have left, unless I decide to go into Boruto, but I doubt I'm going to do that because I don't really know that much about Boruto, and I have heard it's not exactly the greatest series in the world, and so until it starts getting into probably like some of the good stuff like later on, I'm probably not going to end up watching that, so I probably won't be having more episodes other than this one, for at least for the time being, so this is probably going to be the last episode of this. So now let's jump right in where we left off. So, Obito went to the Five Kage Summit and pretty much declared war, and that's where we're going to jump back into it. So, pretty much the Five Kage obviously now know that they're about to go into war, and they're assembling their troops, doing all of that different stuff, and they actually do still end up sending Naruto with Killer Bee to the island to actually train with the QB and like gain full control over it, or attempt to gain full control over it. So Naruto goes to this island, and they have all the filler arcs, which go exactly the same. And by the end of it, Naruto does eventually actually end up showing up at the island. And the first little thing that he has to do when he does show up at the island is to defeat himself. And I'm going to say this goes pretty much exactly the same, because he pretty much has like the same mindset that he did in the original, and him being stronger doesn't make a difference if he's fighting himself. It's more of like a mental battle than a physical one. So Naruto does figure it out pretty much the same amount as before. And now Killer Bee is taking Naruto to the area inside, like, I don't even know what it's called. That really weird temple looking thing with the weird room. You know what I'm talking about. That place. And Naruto still fakes getting his head pretty much cut off, and Killer Bee says, "Yeah, I did the same thing." And now they go into the weird white, really weird and colorful building looking thing. And Naruto does pretty similarly to what he does in the original. And he's taking the Nine-Tails chakra, even easier this time, but he still can't handle the full hatred of it once he starts getting a ton of it out. Like, yeah, he can handle it a lot better than he did in the original, but he can't handle it up to the point where it would, like, give him, like, the KCM and the different things, which would allow him to actually defeat the Nine-Tails. So now, Naruto's seemingly getting overtaken by the Nine-Tails chakra. And this is where Kushina shows up, just like in the original, and pretty much helps him at using her chakra chains, and Naruto gains KCM just like he does in the original. Now, this is the scene where Killer Bee, or, Kisame comes out of the sword that Killer Bee has, which is Samehada. And Naruto, now with his increase of power, one-shots him. Killer Bee doesn't have the chance to escape and, like, try to leave. Naruto one-shots him and kills him and actually manages to one-shot him. So now, with him dead, they don't really have to worry about, like, Guy fighting himself. Actually, Guy would actually end up fighting himself this time because Killer Bee didn't come out. Or, not Killer Bee. Because, Kisame didn't come out. So, yeah. I don't know how that would go. It'd be a little bit weird. So that doesn't happen, and now they're going back to the actual war, or back to their homeland, because they found out about the war happening, and Naruto didn't actually know that this was going on, just like in the original. So now they go back, and they're running back, and this is where they get confronted by the Raikage, and Minato I don't think would actually show up, because, well, maybe he would show up, but he'd pretty much be kind of like Tsunade. in the way that he wouldn't, like, try to fight Naruto. That would just be the Raikage in this one. So the Raikage would be trying to fight Naruto. Naruto would be even stronger and faster than he was in the original, and he would easily outspeed the Raikage even faster than he did in the original, just because he's stronger, and therefore that would prove that he is strong enough to actually enter the war. So he enters the war. So Naruto enters the war, and he makes all of his shadow clones, and they spread out along each individual different battlefield. And Itachi is on the battlefield, but he's not a reanimation, and he's also on the good side from the beginning. Nagato, on the other hand, is still a reanimation, and I believe he would still come into contact with Naruto and Killer Bee. I don't think there would be any Itachi right now, because Itachi would probably be more along, like, with Kakashi and Sai and all of those different people, so I don't think that Itachi would be there to help Naruto and Killer Bee out, but Naruto's a lot stronger, and he would probably be able to make up that gap in strength. So now, the fight is starting, and the start of the fight is very casual, with them kind of just talking about different things, and pretty much they pretty much just talk about it talk about what's going on in the war and all those different things, until Naruto decides he's going to step it up a bit. And he actually wants to take out this reanimation, but he can't really decide how he's going to do it, because again, Naruto doesn't have too many sealing jutsu that he actually can use, that he thinks of. So he is trying to figure out how he's going to actually manage to seal this Nagato character, and he just decides that he's going to try making up his own sealing jutsu on the spot, and he tries to do so. So what he ends up doing is using his memory to pretty much look at his mother's chakra chains, and he tries to replicate this. And he actually manages to do it, because again, Naruto's a prodigy, and that's kind of like something that I think all Uzumakis can unlock the chakra chains, but I'm not even sure. I'm just going to say Naruto has unlocked the chakra chains now. So this would be pretty different from the original, now that Naruto has a really powerful sealing jutsu, because the chakra chains are overpowered as heck when it comes to sealing or just combat in general. So now this would be very different from the original, and Naruto would actually manage to seal Nagato with this. So yeah, he sealed Nagato with that. So now Naruto's his other shadow clones are showing up at all of the other battlefields, where Sakura's healing people, where Hinata, Neji, Kiba, all of those different people are fighting, and showing up where Shikamaru and those people are fighting. He pretty much shows up at all the different battlefields with the third Raikage, and all those different things. And those pretty much all go the same, because Naruto is strong enough to defeat pretty much all of them, and even stronger now than he was in the original, so it'd be much easier. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a difference. When one of his shadow clones shows up where the Tsuchikage and all of those people are, and Madara shows up, things are going to go a little bit differently, because obviously when Madara shows up, Madara would see Naruto. And when he saw Naruto, he would pretty much know instantly that this kid was his grandson. And he looked almost exactly like Minato when Minato was growing up. And Madara would pretty much put this on the back burners, thinking about his goal, but he would know that this kid is his grandson. So, with this kid actually being his grandson, he does show a little bit of remorse as he's going through killing all the shinobi, but Naruto doesn't actually think much of this, because he knew that Madara was his grandfather, but he didn't ever really think that he was a good person at all. But he also never thought that he would actually get to meet Madara. Now, Madara still summons down the boulders, and that scene still happens exactly the same. The next scene that actually would happen differently is when all the different Kage show up, and Minato shows up with all the other Hokage, or not Hokage, all the other Kage using his Flying Raijin. He shows up probably a little bit faster than he did in the original, because obviously he has the Flying Raijin, and he could get there much quicker than the other, like Tsunade and the other people. Now, he got there, or like they still use the Flying Raijin to get there, but Minato can use it himself, and he doesn't have to go through this like weird like warping like It's a really weird like space warping thing that like hurts people if you're not like really durable or you can heal yourself or something like that. So they all get there, and now this is going to be a major difference in the battle. Because not only now is Madara seeing his grandson, but he's also seeing his son. So now Madara's looking at this, and he's trying to think of whether or not he wants to even continue on with this war. But Obito pretty much convinces him to, because Obito I feel like would show up, because he would know that, or Madara would have told him because Madara told Obito that Madara and Naruto, or that Minato was his son, so Obito would be like, if Minato shows up at the battle, things could turn south. I'm gonna have to show up where on that battlefield, so Madara doesn't turn. So he shows up, and he's pretty much trying to convince Madara that he'll be able to see his son and grandson in the Infinite Tsukuyomi. So now, with that happening, Madara gets switched back to his original side, and he continues on with the battle. Now, this would go pretty similarly, except for Minato is there, because he would still send Naruto to go fight go to a different battlefield, but now it's a little bit different, because Minato, if you don't know, is literally, like, so much more powerful than Tsunade was. And with his flying Raijin technique, he can probably actually manage to damage Madara. Now, this would obviously not be enough to actually manage to kill him, and with Tsunade not being there, it would be a much more difficult battle, because all of the Kage were actually, or like the Sushi Kage and all of those people were already damaged, but without Tsunade being there to heal them, it's going to be more difficult. So they begin the battle with Madara, and pretty much just like the original, they lose. And when Orochimaru shows up, he is actually the one that ends up saving all of the Kage, and then he goes, and he wouldn't actually revive. Orochimaru showed up obviously because of Kabuto still being part of the war, and Kabuto is still taking his cells and all those different things. But I don't think he would actually revive the old Hokage, because Sasuke isn't there to pretty much want to question them about what was like going on with the Uchiha and all of those different things. So that's a little bit different as well. And I'm going to skip to the very end of the battle, pretty much, where Obito and Madara are summoning like the Ten Tails and doing all of those different things. So when Naruto and Sasuke actually start battling each other, or not each other, but they start battling together, this is where Naruto pretty much convinces Kurama to give him his chakra, and Naruto gets KCM2. Now, this is pretty much going to be like pretty much the opposite of what happens in the original, because they're probably Naruto is probably strong enough to be able to take on like someone like Obito or something like that by himself right now. So with Sasuke with him, Sasuke is stronger than he was in the original, just because he had more motivation to train, since Naruto was so much stronger than him, and he could train with his brother when he was younger, so he would also be stronger. Now, this takes a little bit of a turn, because they actually managed they have to take down the Ten Tails without Hashirama putting down the 8 gates, or not the 8 gates, but the wooden gates that pretty much hold it down. So now Obito would become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, and there wouldn't be the same scene where he pretty much like throws all of the gates that even the Ten Tails can get off of him. So that scene doesn't actually happen, but there's a little bit of a difference. Naruto and Sasuke are both stronger, and they're actually holding their own against Obito instead of just completely not being able to do anything, especially since Naruto by this point has probably already combined his KCM2 with Sage Mode, so he would actually be able to damage him. And now Sasuke wouldn't be able to damage Madara or damage Obito without his curse mark, so he can't actually damage him, because he can't use like Sage Mode or any like nature energy pretty much. So He just pretty much, in order to damage him, he would have to combine his jutsus with Naruto in order to gain pretty much any senjutsu on top of his own jutsu. So they do actually end up doing this, and they eventually even figure out how to combine the Susanoo, no, that's not even how you pronounce it, the Susanoo with the Kurama chakra avatar thing. So they combine that, and they actually manage to take out Obito without even having to weaken his will. So now, this is different, and I think Kakashi would still be at this battlefield, obviously, but he still has his eye, because Madara hasn't been, revived yet, and they killed Obito. So Madara, without being revived, would actually would actually try gaining control over pretty much anybody there, so he decides that his target for this is going to be Naruto himself. So he needs to figure out a way to get Naruto implanted with the Rinnegan. But he can't actually do that because he doesn't even have... Well, he has eyes because he's still reanimated, but so he still has his eyes, but he has to figure out a way pretty much to get Naruto with a Rinnegan. But, to his surprise, this kind of solves itself, because as Naruto is battling and getting pushed farther and farther by the Madara and by everybody else, Naruto actually awakens the Rinnegan due to him being an Uchiha and a Uzumaki and a reincarnation. He combines the chakras together, which then gets him to the point where he can actually awaken the Rinnegan. So he awakens the Rinnegan, and now Madara takes over. He pretty much uses Genjutsu to take over. No, it's not Genjutsu. He uses Black Zetsu pretty much takes control over Naruto's body, and he ends up using the Rinne Rebirth. Now this one actually killed Naruto because he again has even Obito survived one of them or a few. I don't even remember. He survived it, so Naruto would be able to live just with his vast amounts of chakra and dexterity and all of that. Now, another little bit of a difference here, since Naruto has a Rinnegan, and that Madara still doesn't have his eyes, and now he goes straight for Kakashi, because he wants some eyes, pretty much. But instead of actually managing to take the Kakashi Sharingan, he doesn't actually successfully do this, because Naruto gets in the way. Naruto, with his speed, power, and visual prowess boost, he actually manages to get in the way of Madara and pretty much stop him. And now, Naruto takes Kakashi over to where Obito is, and Naruto actually tells Kakashi to implant Obito's other Sharingan into his eye that isn't a Sharingan yet. So, Kakashi, after some hesitation, does this, because he probably wouldn't have done this in the original, because he knew that Obito was getting to be a changed person back to where he was in the original, but Obito never changed. He pretty much stayed straightforward on wanting to use the Infinite Tsukuyomi. So now, he would take Obito's eye, and he would get the dual Mangekyo. So, just like in the original, he would actually awaken the Susanoo. I cannot pronounce words. The Susanoo eventually. I'm still saying this wrong, but I don't care anymore. Eventually, and he would actually manage to pretty much be a good help in the fight, just like he was in the original. So, Madara now absorbs the Ten Tails and becomes the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. And he pretty much manages to nearly kill Naruto and Sasuke, and they're seemingly dead. And this is where the Sage of Six Paths gives them his two halves of the chakra, and Naruto gets Six Path Sage Mode, and Sasuke also gains his Rinnegan, or Rinne Sharingan. And now their little battle continues on, with them having a massive edge over Madara, even more so than the original, especially since both of them are fighting at the same time. So now, Madara would actually absorb the World Tree and gain that power boost. And he'll be a little bit more on par with Naruto at this point, but he still or with Naruto and Naruto and Sasuke at this point, but he still isn't anywhere near enough to even take down Naruto himself, yet let alone both of them fighting together. So now he uses his Rene Sharingan, and this is where Black Zetsu pretty much takes. I don't know if he takes. He pretty much shanks him in the back and summons Kaguya. Now, when Kaguya is summoned, this fight is pretty different because Naruto and Sasuke are both much more powerful than they were in the original, and Kakashi has the dual Mangekyo. So the battle goes much differently, with them pretty much almost instantly managing to win the battle against Kaguya and seal her, and Naruto throws up Black Zetsu as well, so this cycle can't repeat itself. So unlike in the original, when they go back, they instantly undo the infinite Tsukuyomi, and there isn't some giant fight between Naruto and Sasuke. Like, yeah, they want to settle their rivalry, but they don't want to. That Sasuke isn't trying to kill Naruto and everybody else to pretty much start a revolt. So they probably would fight to settle their rivalry, but Naruto would actually win this fight with the fact that he has the Rinnegan and the Sharingan and six path Sage mode. He would win this fight. So that's pretty much where I'm going to end this episode off. They revive, or not revive, but they get everybody out of the infinite Tsukuyomi, and they win the battle, and Sasuke stays in the village. So that's where I'm going to leave this part off, and I think this is going to be the final, at least until I decide if I'm going to do another one or not later on. Okay, peace out. See you guys later. Bye.